Jai Hind everyone, good morning to all of you. This is Pooja Upadhyay from Shriram Public School. In the chapter Weavers, Iron Smelter and the Factory Owner, we are going to see the new topic that is following. The Sword of Tipu Sultan and Vunsa Steel. We begin the story of Indian steel and iron metallurgy by recounting the famous story of the Tipu Sultan, who ruled Mysore till 1799. Please underline this word. Tipu Sultan ruled over a period 1799 fought 4 war. कितने वॉर इन्होंने लड़े थे? 4 war with the British and died fighting with his sword in his hand. Tipu's legendary sword are now the part of the valuable collection in museums in England. Means उनके जो भी famous चीज़ें थे उस इंग्लैंड के म्यूजियम में रखा गया है. But do not know why the sword was so special. उनका जो sword था, ठीक है. The sword had an incredible hard and sharp edge that could easily rip through the opponents of armor. This quality of the sword came from the special type of the high carbon steel called Wunz, which was produced all over South India. Wunz steel, when made into sword, produced a very sharp edge with a flowing water pattern. This pattern came from very small carbon crystal embedded in the iron. देखिए मैं आपको स्वॉर्ड का पिक्चर दिखाती हूँ. दिस इज़ द स्वॉर्ड, ओके, विच ही वॉज यूजिंग ड्यूरिंग द वॉर, विच वॉज kept in the British Museum. Francis Buchanan, who taught through Mysore in 1800 year after Tipu Sultan's death, has left us an account of the technique by which Wunz steel was produced in many hundred of the smelting furnaces in the Mysore. मैसूर में ही ये इस तरह के स्वॉर्ड बनाए जाते हैं. In this furnaces, iron was mixed with charcoal and put inside small clay pots. Here they are explaining us the way, the procedure of making the sword. Through an intricate control of the temperature, and the smelter produced the steel ingots that were used for sword making, not just in India but in West and Central Asia too. Once is a angelized version of the Kannada word ukku, Telugu hukku, and Tamil and Malayalam urukku, meaning steel. Means these are the different name. Student, please remember the different language name of the steel. Indian Wunz steel fascinated European scientist Michael Faraday, the legendary scientist and discoverer of electricity and electromagnetism, spent 4 years studying the properties of India Wunz from 1818 to 22. Means he was spent the 4 year in studying of the this particular iron. However, the Wunza steel making the process, which was so widely known in the South India, was completely lost by the mid-19th century. Can you guess why this was so? The sword and the armor making the industry died. With the conquest of India by British and imports of iron and steel from England displaced the iron and the steel produced by the craft people in India. Abandoned furnaces in village. Production of the Wunz steel required a highly specialized technique of refining the iron. Means these are the things were used for making the weapon which were using during the war by the different ruler. But iron smelting in India was extremely common till the end of the 19th century. In Bihar and the central India, in a particular every district of the smelter that use the local deposits of ore or implement the tools daily use. Means while using the ore and iron, they are making the tools and the weapons which were going to be used in a regular basis. Okay, now the next, the furnaces were most often built of clay and sun dried bricks. The smelting was done by the men while women worked the bellow, pumping air that kept the charcoal burning. See, this is the way of making the weapons. Okay, next. By the late 19th century, however, the craft of iron smelting was declining. In most of the village, furnaces fell into the disuse and amount of the iron produced came down. Why was this happen? Let's see what is the reason. What is the reason behind the declining in the production of the iron? One reason was the new forest laws that you have read about chapter 4, when the colonial government prevented people from entering the reserve forest, means it was restricted that people were not allowed to move over there. Where could they go to get the iron and the ore? Means they were never getting not getting the raw material of the iron and ore, and that is the reason why they're not making the weapons. Defying the forest law, they often entered the forest secretly and collected wood, but they could not sustain their occupation. Means चोरी छुपके ये चीज़ें वो कंटिन्यू रखे, लेकिन ज़्यादा देर तक नहीं कर पाए. On this basis for a long, many gave up their craft and look for other means livelihood. उसके बाद उन्होंने अपने लाइववुड को किसी अदर ऑक्यूपेशन में शिफ्ट कर दिया. इन सम एरिया ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट डिड ग्रांट द एक्सेस टू द फॉरेस्ट. कुछ एरिया में उन्होंने परमिट कर दिया था, बट द आयरन स्मेल्टर हैड टू पे द वेरी हाई टैक्स टू फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट फॉर एवरी फर्नेस दे यूज्ड. दिस रिड्यूस देयर इनकम. ठीक है, मीन्स कुछ फॉरेस्ट में उन्हें परमिशन दी गई थी, लेकिन बदले में उनसे कुछ टैक्सेशन और कुछ ये रेवेन्यूज़ लिया जाता था, जिसकी वजह से जो स्मेल्टर होते थे उनकी इनकम उतनी अर्निंग नहीं हो पा रही थी, उससे ज़्यादा उनका कॉस्ट बेयर होना पड़ता था. Moreover, by the late 19th century, iron and steel was being imported from the Britain. Ironsmith in India began using the imported iron to manufacture the utensil and implement. This inevitable lowered the demand for iron produced by the local smelter because of the steel invention. By the early 20th century, the artisans producing the iron steel faced a new competition. उसके बाद धीरे धीरे उन्हें नए competition को face करना पड़ा था. यहाँ तक हमने आयरन ओरा प्रोडक्शन, उससे जो बनते थे वेपन्स, उसके बारे में किस तरह से प्रोडक्शन हुआ, उसका प्रोसीजर हुआ और उसके डिमांड डिक्लाइन हुए, वो देखा. अब आयरन एंड स्टील फैक्ट्री कम अप इंडिया, ये टॉपिक हम लोग कल के लेक्चर में देखेंगे. Today I am stopping here only, student. If you having any doubts, so you can ask me in the evening lecture. Till that, remember whatever I explained you today, the different types of the name of the iron, steel, and where they produce, what is the process, everything you should be learn. In the evening lecture, in a doubt session, I am going to ask the question answer. Till that, stay home, stay safe, Jai Hind, take care. Have a nice day.